Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to show you how to create a table in MySQL. So right now, I have opened my MySQL workbench. You can use a command line tool also to use a MySQL statement. So what information do you need to create a table? The first thing is you need a table name, and then you need the columns or fields in the table. And the last one is we also need the properties of the fields or columns. What are the properties? What is the data type of each field, and what would be the default value if you don't give any value for that field. So let's create a statement so it will be very easy for you to understand. So how do you create a create statement? The keyword that you use to create a table is create table, and then you give the table name. Let's create a table called employee, and you start with the open brackets and then end with the close bracket, and within this two brackets you give the field names. For example, in our table we are going to create four fields: employee ID, and then employee first name, employee last name, and we will have a column called create date, that is the date when the row is created. So we have given four fields. So employee ID, what would be the data type of an employee ID? Generally it will be integer, and you want it to, this is going to be a primary key because it's going to uniquely identify each and every row. So you have to give a not null statement, and then you have a keyword called auto increment in MySQL. What it does is, if you don't input any value to the employee ID, each and every time a row is created, MySQL will do some work for you. What it will do, it will increment the value of the employee ID whenever you insert any row. So for the first employee it will be 1, and next it will be like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to give this field as a auto increment. Okay, so we are done with the first field. So second field, we always apply the same property. What is there? You need to give the data type. So I'm saying employee first name could be 100 characters, and then employee last name, I'm going to follow the same procedure. The data type is 100 characters. We can also specify not null if you need. You can say that employee first name is always needed. So let's go and do that. Let's give a not null, and even your employee last name is needed. Make it not null. So with the last column, we have a create date column. So what should be the data type of create date column? It should be date time, and then we are going to introduce a new keyword called default now, and I'm going to give a value called now. So what this does is, we say the create date should be a date time object. Date time is, it will have both the date and the time at which the row is created, and then we say that in case they don't insert the create date, the default date should be the current date and time. And how do you get that current date and time? We get it using the now function. Now function is a default function in MySQL. So that's it, guys. We are all set to create the tables. Okay, but I forgot one last thing. The one thing that I forgot is the primary key. We got to say what is the primary key of this table. So in our case, the employee ID is the primary key. So let's go and give this value. So we have this create statement to create a table. Let's go and run the command. Okay, so what it did was it ran the statement and it should have created a table called employee. So if you see this, when you run this command, a table called employee got created. Now let's go and import some values here. So let's go and give the employee name, John White, and let's see what happens if you don't give the create date and employee ID. Let's do the apply statement. Let's apply it, and you can see the insert statement here. You see that the employee ID and the create date is not given here. And let's see what MySQL does. MySQL executed the statement, and what it did was it automatically created a value for employee ID just because we gave this keyword auto increment. So it gave a value 1, and if you see, it also by default created a row with the current date and time. So we gave the now function. The now function, it gives the current date and time, and that's what you see it's being populated in the create statement. There's one more thing I just want to mention here is you can do the same create statement using a wizard in the MySQL workbench. And so to get to that, what you can do is you have to do a right click on the tables and go and click create table. So you will have a window open and you can just give the column names that we already gave. You can give the table name employee. You can say you need an ID for the table, employee ID, and make it as integer. Then you select it's a primary key. By default, the primary key is not null. And then you can say the employee first name, varchar 45, and you say it's not going to be null, and then employee last name, and then we are going to give the create date. Let's capitalize it. So this is going to be the date time object. So you can see all the date types here. So I'm going to give it's going to be a date time object, and the default value should be populated by the now function. And before applying it, let's go and delete the employee table. So let me drop this table, drop it, and again create this table. The server is configured with lowercase table name, so the table name can only be lowercase. So now let's apply it, and you can see the same table is being created here. And you can see all the columns that's being created. So that's it, guys. That's it about create statement. Thanks for watching it. If you like it, you can comment on the video, or you can just click the like button. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.